We're going downtown.
Alright, well, looks like the torch is still there. I'm assuming that's the stinger. Glad that's still there. The regulator, there's the plug. I like that it comes with a cart. This is the bracket that's all bent. If I only knew a good fabricator to fix that. So there's the face of the machine, if you haven't seen it. I don't see any damage other than the bracket, so that's good. And then this also fell out, which pretty sure that's the stick lead in the ground. We'll look into that, but I did want to give you a first look, and I wanted you to see how stellar the shipping was getting it here. Probably get this unboxed, roll it over there, get a gas bottle hooked up to it, and then we'll start talking about what it does and turn it on and all that fun stuff. I am pretty excited to give this machine a try. I think if a person was looking to start a business, if they're wanting to get into shop fabrication, that is, I would say this is definitely the most valid machine that they could purchase from ArcCaptain. This is supposed to be ArcCaptain's industrial grade machine. We're going to use it and abuse it. The very first thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to run coupons. I'm not going to test all that silly stuff. I'm just going to plug it in and I'm going to weld with it. We're going to put it right to work. I've got a bunch of handrail I've got to fit up. I'm in the process of fitting some stair stringers because I got a big job up north that I got to put some stairs in. So we're going to put it right to work and see how she does. So here we go. Let's see how she does. All right. Here's my ground lead. This actually looks significantly higher quality, oh yeah, than the other ones. This ground clamp is definitely a step up. I would say that falls under heavy duty. The hose looks to be about the same. Not sure why I had to smell that. It's just kind of a habit. It does look like maybe it's a little bit longer. So gas hose. There's the chain to hold your bottle on. That's cool. And then I've got some drive rolls and some contact tips. So we'll see what we got going here. We'll get all this set up. Kind of interested to see. Huh. The MIG gun is definitely a step up as well. And it looks like it's 10 or 12 feet, which is a huge plus. That is something that I am happy to see. Longer lead on the Stinger. That's definitely a plus. The gun almost seems like a Bernard or a Tweco style. I mean, it's obviously an ArcCaptain, but it looks like that's kind of what they modeled the design after, which that's a good thing. Oh yeah, sweet. And there's the regulator. All right, we'll take all this stuff, we'll set it up on the machine, get a bottle in it, throw some wire in it, put that baby to work. Let's see how she does. All right. Looks like they give you, I don't know, maybe 6 feet of cord here. We've got a plug here that is AC 36 volts / 3.5 amps. I'm not really sure what that's for, but it looks like it's got some kind of weird plug. Maybe for using it in another country or something, I don't know. And then you've got your gas hose port here. Kind of impressed by the cart so far. Seems pretty quality. It's actually got locking casters on the front. That's kind of cool. I like that they gave us a longer ground clamp, and that's got to be 12, 15 feet. Heck, I think that might be a 15-footer. That's going to be nice as long as it runs good. So let's see if it'll push that wire. I like that there's a handle on it. I think that's cool. I like that there's a rubber surface on here. Pretty much everybody I know that runs MIG machines, you can look at all these machines, they've all got stuff sitting on top of them. I think it's cool that they built this knowing that the guy using it is going to be putting tools on it and using this as a shelf. I think that's a great idea. Now we need to get some wire loaded. I got to dig around here, see if I got a spool of wire. Let me see what I can find. All right. I had to rob Peter to pay Paul here. I usually always run these bigger spools of wire just because I hate buying the smaller spools and having to buy wire more often. I like that this machine runs the bigger spools. I'm running 035 wire today. It does have a dual drive roller system. It should push the wire that whole length. If it works properly, it should. So we're going to give it a run, see how it goes. I do want to pull these drive rollers out. Thumb screw / screwdriver. You can pull that out, and then there's like a washer, plastic washer that goes over the end of the drive roll. So I want to pull this out. I typically run 035 wire in all of my wire machines that have solid wire in them. That's typically all I run with solid wire. I might run 030 once in a while if I'm welding something small or delicate. So it's on 1.0. I thought there would be a chart here, but there's not. So maybe it's just in the book. Okay, so what I've done, I checked the drive rollers. The book does say that for solid wire you should have a U-shaped roller in there, which there is. There's two sizes, 0.9 and 1.0. I am using the 1.0 side because we're running 035 wire. The book does say that this will run 040, but I don't run 040. So I don't know if the 040 would be for the 1.0 or if I should have it on the 0.9 side. I couldn't find anything in the book that says that. We're going to try it on the 1.0 side. If it's slipping, then I'll flip the drive rollers, but we'll just try it out like this first. Well, it looks like the power still turns on, so that's something. After its journey here, that's kind of surprising, but I do like the light. I've always liked that ArcCaptain puts a light inside the panel so you can see when you're loading your wire, even though I didn't take advantage. I do like it. Got some good magnets on there. I like that. Let's take a look at the interface here. It's just a basic digital display for your voltage, your amperage, or your voltage and your wire speed. So we're on MIG. That's just a 3-position switch. We're going to switch it back over to MIG, standard, or spool gun. We're going to leave it in standard. You got an arc TIG dial here. That doesn't apply to us right now. We've got MIG, inches per minute, and hard soft. I usually put my hard soft right in the middle to start. I'm assuming that this red button that says inching is the purge or the feed button so that you can feed the wire. I actually like that. That's funny. Inching. Yep, that's exactly what it is. So, I do like to leave this open so I can see if something crazy goes on. So let's grab our gun. I like to make sure that my whip is kind of straight so I'm not putting a bind on the wire as it feeds through here. Typically I like to pull this off so that it doesn't dead wall when it comes to the end. So let's push the inching button. So it looks like the nozzle just spins. So the threaded piece inside the nozzle apparently just spins, but it does have thread. There is a thread there. So if I thread this on, it goes in, and then once it gets to the end, I guess it just swivels. I don't know. That'll be interesting to see how that performs. I'm going to adjust this. I want to go down to, let's start at 19, maybe a little over 19. I'm just kind of guessing here. Our inches per minute. Let's go to, our inches per minute isn't changing. I would think that my wire feed should be showing here, but maybe not, I don't know. I'm gonna go about halfway in between 413 and 236 on the dial. Let's just try it there. I know I said I wasn't gonna run coupons, but I do need to run a test. I need to kind of get it dialed in for what I'm doing. So I've got 2 pieces of channel here, just some scrap. We're gonna see if we can get this dialed in to where I like how she runs. So our gas, we're running about 25 to 30 CFH. Here we go. This is 19.2 and right around 325 on the inches per minute. 19.2 volts. That actually... I turned up my wire feed speed just a little bit, so let's see how it goes. I'll tell you what, for right out of the box, you know, flying by the seat of my pants kind of, and just guessing on those dials, that's running pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. We could tweak that just a little bit to get to where I want it. It might be a little bit on the hot side. I'm actually going to go down just a little bit, maybe. So now I'm at 18.1 volts, and I actually want to go down just a hair on my wire feed speed. So I actually went down a little bit on my wire feed speed as well. I'm probably 350 maybe. I also noticed that there's a post flow on this, so if I hit the button, there's maybe 1.5 seconds or a second of post flow, which is a good thing. Okay, so we got our first one there on the right. We're gonna run this one. It's a little bit cooler. It's settled in at 18.3 volts and about 350 inches a minute. Let's see how this one feels. Ooh, I actually think I like the way that's running a little better for what I'm doing. If I was running, you know, some heavier metal, I'd probably turn it up a little bit, but so this one right here is the one I just ran. So you can see the first one was a little bit more, I think it was a little bit more humped up, but because I changed my wire feed speed and my heat, I think we're getting there. I actually like the way that one's running, so I think we'll leave it right there. So we're going to settle in at 18.2 volts and about 350 inches a minute. So that's where we're going to run it. We got to fit up these stair stringers. So I got to get some things fixed on those first. So once I get everything fixed on the stringers, we'll come back and we'll use the new ArcCaptain to fit these up. So hang tight, we'll come back to you when we get that all fixed and we're ready to go. Alright guys, we're fitting up these stringers here, these stair stringers. So I've got the angles all cut here. So we're just going to use the ArcCaptain here to fit this up. So I really do like the post flow that they have set on there. I don't know if that's adjustable, but I think that's a pretty good thing. So one of the things that I'm really liking is how long the whip is. I've got the machine on the other side of the table. I'm able to fit on both sides of the table. That is super nice. You know, the smaller machines are great for tight quarters, for mobile jobs, things like that where you have to pack the equipment in. I like how lightweight they are. But here working in the shop, I prefer an industrial sized machine. I like the flexibility that they offer in a shop. I like how long the whips are. I like how much power they have. I like that there's more adjustability there. I like that I can tweak the machine to as high or as low as I want. I'm definitely the most excited about this machine of all the machines that I've tried with ArcCaptain, because I feel like this is more suited to what I do. So recently in the comments section on that last ArcCaptain video that I did, I had a couple people get on there and say that I should quit pushing ArcCaptain machines. Then we're putting welding machines in the hands of people that shouldn't have them. In some ways there was some compliments disguised as insults or vice versa. There was one comment where someone said, "You seem like someone that does good work and you like quality equipment. Why would you push ArcCaptain, or why would you support ArcCaptain? Or why would you tie your name with ArcCaptain," or whatever. So I want to explain to you guys why. So the reason that I have gotten behind ArcCaptain and the reason that I have tested their equipment, that I share my experience with ArcCaptain's equipment with you guys, I share that experience with you guys. I don't feel like I push ArcCaptain. I don't stand out on the street corner with an ArcCaptain sign and say, buy an ArcCaptain. I do love my Miller equipment. I love quality welding equipment. I love all kinds of quality equipment. You can look around my shop. I don't skimp when it comes to equipment. But here is where I think the ArcCaptain deserves a little bit of credit. And you guys may have heard me say this before. I'm going to say it again. By the year 2030, we are going to be down in this country at least 30,000 welders. 30,000 welders are going to retire from the baby boomer generation, and they won't be replaced. And the reason that is because this younger generation either doesn't have the interest in trades that they used to, or, you know, it could be a lot of things. The point is, if we don't start getting ahead of this issue, if we don't start helping the younger generation get more interested in trades, in welding, in HVAC, in plumbing, in electrical, if we don't get the younger generation more interested in trades, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for anybody. The reason that the USA has been able to flourish is because there are so many people that have diverse skills, and they're able to go out and build things. And we want to be that country. We want to continue to be that country. So yes, ArcCaptain, do I put them at the same level as a Miller? No, I don't. And I would tell anyone that. I would tell the owner of ArcCaptain to their face that. And here's the crazy thing. I think they know that. I've had conversations with the guy that I work with at ArcCaptain, and they have nothing but respect for the comments that I've made in the comment section regarding this subject. I don't push ArcCaptain because I think they're the most quality professional machine out there. I push ArcCaptain because they give the younger generation an opportunity to get involved in welding, to learn how to weld. Let them get their feet wet. Let them try it out and see if they even have any interest in welding. And I think that's a positive thing, because when I was younger, I really didn't have the opportunity. I didn't have the money. I didn't have those things. I didn't have those opportunities to where I was able to just run out and buy a welding machine, see if I could build something, or see if I could start a business or whatever. I think that 100% is a positive thing. That's why I get behind ArcCaptain, because I do think that it's positive for the up and coming generation, and I think that there are a lot of people out there that can benefit from it. And even if it's not the young people out there trying to develop their interest, maybe it's the older generation. Maybe it's the guy that has a shop in his backyard or a garage and he likes to tinker. Well, that's not the guy that's going to run out and buy a $6,000 Miller. That's probably the guy that's looking for something more like an ArcCaptain, where he can buy a machine that is under $1,000, that'll do several things, several processes. It'll do what he needs it to do when he needs it. I'm not targeting the business owners out there and telling all these business owners, you need to buy ArcCaptain. I'm a professional welder. I do this for a living. I believe in quality equipment, but I also believe that there is other equipment out there for a lesser price that will still offer a quality enough product that you can get your feet wet, that you can produce professional grade welds, and that you don't have to break the bank just to get your feet wet in welding, or maybe venture out on your own and try to start a small welding business or whatever it may be. ArcCaptain offers some of those people an opportunity. That's why I support ArcCaptain, and that's why I review their equipment. I appreciate the opportunities that they've given me to do that, because I think it benefits you guys. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Maybe a lot of you don't see my point, but I do care about this up and coming generation. I do care about the guy that's looking for a welder that can still offer quality welds, and they're not going to have to break the bank. So hopefully you guys understand that. Anyway, all right, I'm off the soapbox. Let's get back to work. One thing I have noticed is how flexible the whip is, and I'll be interested to see how it holds up. As far as the tacking goes, the tacks all look good. I didn't really get any porosity or anything. I think that post flow does help. I don't know if it has any pre-flow. I'll have to read the manual. But, so I've got some galvanized stair treads, like industrial style bar grading stair treads that go in between the stringers here. This is going to mount on a cabin up in the mountains. The guy doesn't want to have to deal with rust, so that's why we're going with galvanized stair treads. And then these stringers will get powder coated to match the handrail that I built last year for it. And then I've got two other smaller stringers that are going to go on the back of the house, and I have to retrofit the handrail on the back to the stringers. This one's going to be kind of tricky. I'm probably going to have to make 2 or 3 trips up there, but that's kind of how it goes. It's one of those deals where when you get that kind of job, you need to make sure you include that in your price. All right, well, we're getting our feet wet with the ArcCaptain. I'm pretty excited to give this one a run. It'll be good to test this machine out. We're going to get to know the stick functions. One of the other things I'm excited for is it's set up for spool gun. So there's an actual spool gun setting. I need to check and see if the spool gun that I have fits this machine or if they're coming out with an industrial grade spool gun. So we'll get more into that once we get to that point, but you know, the stick functions, the TIG functions, so we're gonna try to put this machine to use and see how we like it so that we can share that information with you guys in case you're in the market for a little bit more of an industrial grade machine, but not quite that industrial grade price. So, all right, we'll catch up to you guys when we get more work for the ArcCaptain. Okay guys, we are out here in the shop again today. We've got our stair stringers back out here. We took them up there, check fitted them. Everything was pretty good. There was a couple minor adjustments I had to make on the feet due to the slope in the concrete. I didn't account for that, so I had to cut a couple tacks and tweak the brackets down just a little bit because the concrete sloped more than I thought. So we adjusted that, re-tacked those up. We've got the smaller ones all welded out. We're running the ArcCaptain today. Everything went good on the first two, so I'm liking where we're at. We're running about 18.2 volts, and then the wire feed speed is probably 375. We're running C25 gas, and our gas pressure is about 25 to 30. So we'll keep welding these out. We'll come back and give you guys a look when we get to the point where there's something to show you. As you can see, we're running all of our verticals downhill and seems to be running really good. I've been running these bigger ones both ways, some of them laying flat, some of them I'll tip up, clamp to the table and run it downhill. All right, we'll keep welding these up. When we get them done, we'll come back and give you guys a look. All right, guys, we got the ArcCaptain dialed for the handrail. This is about half welded out. We're running 16.2 volts, and I turned my wire feed speed down to about 15.5, maybe just a hair above that. I think if I was to critique one thing thus far, it would be, I wish that the digital readout for the amperage would be both your amperage readout and your wire feed speed. I think that's kind of dumb that it's not being used. Like on the millers, when you switch over to MIG, now the amperage window turns into your wire feed speed. And yes, I can still get it dialed in. I did, and it's running really good. But it would be a lot easier. You could be a lot pickier and be a lot more precise with your wire feed speed if you were able to use the little knob and then have the digital readout show what your wire feed speed is. So that's the first thing that I've found that I don't really care for. I think they probably would have been better off if they'd have changed that. You guys know me, I'm gonna throw out all the things that I like and that I dislike. So that's my first dislike. The machine does run really well. I've got it dialed in to where all of these joints are running just right to where they're a little bit convex, and when I go to clean up this handrail, it's going to save me a little bit of time because it's not so humped up. So I'll give you guys a look once I get these welded out, but I'll run these next few and you guys can kind of hear how I got it running. Listen to what it sounds like. It's running pretty smooth. So we'll go ahead and run this one here. Something else I really like. I like the post flow on this. I'm not getting any pinholes. I'll show you guys all these. One of the things I hate about short arc is it's just really finicky. You always tend to get more pinholes with short arc than with any other process, or at least for me. And I'm pretty picky about my fit up and how I clean my material. With short arc, you always seem to get a little bit more porosity. So far on this project, it has been really good. I've only got a couple, and that was on the corners where maybe there was some bandsaw fluid leaking out or something like that. But everything else has gone really well. I'll show you guys what they look like when we get these done. So the joints that butt up against the corner of the material are easier to run, but what I'm doing is I'm tipping my gun in towards the corner of the material. So I'm directing my heat to that corner, and then I'm running kind of a circular manipulation. And when I run that circle, I run it clockwise and I run it into the thin side of the tube, so into the end of the tube. Run it into the end of the tube, make my circle, and then I move forward. And then I run it into the end of the tube and I move forward. Alright, so here's what they look like. You see there's no undercut. They look good. I did have to trigger these ones, but that's pretty typical. But they're looking really good. Now when I go back to clean these up, without there being any undercut, and where they're nice and convex, but not too much, I'll be able to clean those up nice. There shouldn't be any pinholes. And then as far as the duty cycle goes, it's holding up nicely. I don't ever stop. I just keep going. I'll run one and then I jump over there and I run one and I jump back over here. The only time I stop is if I'm talking to you guys or if I get a phone call or something. Other than that, I just go for it. So we're putting the hammer down and it's taking it. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on how it's going with the ArcCaptain. One thing you do want to make sure you do, you can see the tip does protrude out quite a bit. I do think it'd be a little bit better if it stuck in the nozzle a little bit more, but you need to be aware. Look at the crust that's building up around that tip. That'll give you hell if you don't keep that clean. So you want to make sure that you clear that off. So every, I don't know, 5 or 6 welds, I just check and make sure that it's clean. Okay, so you can see I've got it running good. I like the way it's running. I did just turn my wire feed speed down just a little bit more because it was kind of humped up a little bit, and it kind of looked like the puddle was kind of rippling a little bit too much. So it kind of seemed like the wire feed speed was a little high, so I turned it down and it fixed it. It ended up running a lot better. So anyway, we'll get these all welded out and get them to the customer. I just wanted to show you guys this was more of a heavy duty project for the welder. I think we'll probably end this video with the MIG function that we've tried out, and then I'll do a separate video for the TIG and the stick. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks as always for watching. See you on the next one. So hang tight. We'll come right. So come back. Goodness. That way, I'm just kind of washing the metal on the end of the tube and kind of grabbing a hold of it, if that makes sense. Kind of washing it into the end of the tube and letting it fuse. And then I fill up around to the corner. I don't know, maybe you guys, I feel like maybe I'm rambling. I'm pretty happy with it so far. So when I get ready to clean these up, when I get these cleaned up, so I'm liking it so far. I think we'll probably end this video with just the MIG function. Goodness. I think it would probably be better if it stuck in the nozzle a little bit.